And so the idea is to capture people's stories, to see like what conversations happen, and whether or not these stories can be used to have like a positive impact. So have you used like a check cashing or?
I use like the one of the online check cashing.
One of the online ones.
We Fix Money.
Okay.
We were just talking about We Fix Money.
So I guess my question is like, how did that work?
Okay. Well, I heard about it on the radio, first off, because it seems like on the Russ Parr Morning Show, it's always on there. They're always talking about We Fix Money, and it's always, the announcer's talking about if you need some cash or something like that. So I was thinking it was a time where cash was running low, and I was like, I don't want to ask for money. I didn't want to ask like my partner or anybody for money. So I was like, you know what, this will make you feel better. I don't have to ask anybody. I can just handle it, take care of it, do it quietly, and do that. What I did was I went on the website, wefixmoney.com, and it opens up like you a profile so that you have to kind of like put in your information, like your social security number and stuff like that. And you get to choose how much money that you will want. They start you off at a lot higher than what you need. So I think I wanted like $100 or something. They were trying to offer me $250, $300. I said, oh no, this is not going to work. So I went back in and fixed it. And basically, they tell you like the terms of the loan and stuff like that, and when it has to be due by. Once you get receive the money, which is usually like next day, they'll start telling you like, okay, you have until this amount of time to pay it off. But if you don't want to pay it off, then you can extend it to this time, and so they'll charge you around $40 to extend it, something like that. And you can keep on extending it and extending and extending it. What I did was I paid it off the first time. And basically, instead of me just paying it, it came straight out of my checking account. They just took the money. But then I used it two other times after that because it was so easy and it was so simple. Like, oh, okay, this won't be that bad. One time I did extend it for one pay period. So instead of it being due 2 weeks later, it was due like 4 weeks later. And I did pay that extra amount of money. And then I had to pay $38 to extend it, and then you have to pay the amount plus the extra fees and stuff like that the next time, and it comes straight out of your account. And that's what it did. Basically, and sometimes then they'll start sending you like stuff at home and stuff like that, saying like, oh, you're a platinum member of this thing, you have such good credit, and try to make you feel good. And of course, I would just try to hide everything. I did not want there to be any evidence that I used this. It was kind of my little secret shame a little bit. I was like, I got into a place where I was not fully fiscally responsible with my cash. So it's like, okay, I feel ashamed that I did that, and I don't really want anybody to know that I messed up. So I tried to hide it. So I tried to take all of my, take all the things that came into the house. So it does not say like wefixmoney.com on the envelope. It says like CashNet USA. So I was just taking all the different little envelopes and stuff and trying to hide them. And then they'll send you emails and they're like, hey, we haven't heard from you in a while. Do you need some more money? I was like, no, I'm good. I don't need any more. But stuff like that. And actually, it did not happen until I think last week that it was actually, I finally just kind of came clean with my partner and said like, look, I took some money like that. And it's been paid off. It did not affect my credit in any way because I did pay it back. But it was something that I thought I would never have to do. Everybody gets into a situation where money's tight or something happens, but I don't always feel that I have somebody I can go to ask for money. So this was the next best thing. And then, you hear about the other little, like the Indian reservation one that seems to be like their interest rates are like 118% or something crazy. Or there was another one I looked into, and their interest rate was close to 300 or 400. So like, oh, we're not going to do that one. So this one seemed to be the easiest route and did not seem as bad as the other ones, but it was still something I didn't want to do, but I had to just do it.
So you went back to the same place when you?
Yes, because it was so easy. Like I didn't have to go anywhere. It was just online. I just kind of, sometimes I was at work and I was like, okay, I see this, like, I knew this bill is coming out. I'm not going to have enough cash. I know this is other due or something else is due. So let me just go ahead and take care of this. So I would just sometimes, you can just, once you type it in, they have your information there. So all you basically would need to do is just re-log into your account and push a button, basically, and you can get some more cash in a way.
Do you feel like if circumstances were similar now, it's something that you would maybe do again?
Knowing that like the jig is up for me, like people know, I don't think I would. It did not feel good when I did it in the first place. I mean, I'm usually hard on myself, so it felt like, okay, you kind of felt like you kind of had to have a bailout in a way. So I rather ask for the money for somebody else so I don't have to pay an extra $50, $60 for it, or just kind of, buckle down and just try to get through it. I know it wasn't as bad as some other places. I know they did not, or even like the car title loans now and stuff like that. It wasn't as bad as that. I didn't have to like sell anything on my first child or anything, but, it just still didn't feel good. So probably not.
What was your partner's reaction?
He was a little angry. He was a little angry about the secret. But I told him, like, I know you didn't have it either. And I did not want to see this reaction now to say that I needed money. So I'd rather have just taken care of it. I caused the problem. I'll try to fix the problem the best way I could and deal with it myself in my own little bubble. And he was a little hurt that I did not share with him the issue, because of course he probably saw me frustrated and stuff like that, but didn't fully understand why.
Do you feel like it would be different if you had taken a similar type loan, if it had been like from a U.S. bank or like a Fifth Third? Would you feel differently about it?
I would be more leery about if it was from a regular type bank, I think. Just from working different banks, you have the different fees, and it seems like they will give you some more underlying fees. For me, with using We Fix Money, it did not seem to be that bad to me, because it probably just because it came out of my account. So I really did not have to jump through any hoops to make sure that they got the money back. So I didn't have to go anywhere. I didn't have to send them a check or anything like that. It just came out of my account. I didn't have to type in my account information or anything. They just took it out. So I would be leery about getting it from a bank another way. And then there will probably be more that I will have to go through, more credit checks and everything like that to try to get that money from the bank. I never tried it, so I don't know, but that would be my first thought.
Do you feel like the terms were pretty straightforward up front? Like you understood what you were going to have to pay back in the long run? Because I
knew what I was getting myself into. I knew it was not the best practice out there. So I did read and I did research, or the best of my abilities. And I knew, and it did say it did blatantly state, like, okay, this is what we're charging you. If you're going to like keep it going, this is what's going to happen, stuff like that. So I did feel that for me, it was enough, but I did my due diligence and read further. I knew that it was not just going to be the bold print that they showed you on the main page. I knew it was going to be more, so I read more. But I know not everybody does that. So for me, it was okay, but for others, it might definitely get you caught up into a situation.
Can you think of other questions we can ask people? Because we're trying to just gather information that is going to, I guess, help people from being in situations that are predatory, but without assuming what situations are negative or positive. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
I would ask what brought you there. Like, ask. They don't have to give you like the main details of the story, but just kind of, because everybody has a story as to what took them there. Mm-hmm. And if you're really trying to affect a person, like, let them know that they're not alone, that things do happen, that, your car might need to be worked on and you didn't expect that. You might have had a car accident or something like that, or you might have lost your job, or, you might have had, just with heating and gas and electric bills, it might have been higher one month than it was the last month. So those type of things might other people might be able to see, like, oh, I've been there before, so I understand that. And then if you can tell them of another avenue to go to, they'll be like, okay, I don't feel as bad that I'm the only person who's ever had to do this.
Do you feel comfortable sharing with us what you feel like was what brought you to that?
Oh, sure. Probably many little things. I love to shop, so shopping probably took a little bit, but also I was having some bills come due that just wasn't thinking about. Like car insurance is due every 3 months instead of every one, so I was like, okay, I got to think about that. Then I had another like one-time bill that was coming out, and I was like, okay, this is going to be a lot. And then I had like, my regular bills like my car note, my house note, and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh crap, what am I going to do? So that's what I went to for, because I'm like, okay, it's going to be 2 or 3 weeks and I don't have cash. Like I don't have any money. So like for gas, for eating and stuff like that. So I'm going to need a little something. So that's what I used it for.
I'd like to see if anybody else has questions.
I have a question.
Yes.
Since you said you wouldn't use it again, you would ask people, what type of things would you do to reduce
The need?
chance of you going back? Like what type of practices would you do? Would you just kind of cut back on it now, or?
Well, what I've done is I kind of working on a budgeting. I grew up in a household where sometimes it was the idea of sensible spending was not there. It was 0 to 60. So meaning that you will go out and spend a whole bunch of money and, have fun, or you couldn't spend anything. So when I was growing up and as I got a teenager and had my own money and my own job, I would get in trouble or something like, why did you go to McDonald's? You don't need McDonald's. You need to be saving that money. I'm like, wait a minute. So I had an adverse reaction to budgeting, and I did not like it. So I had to come upon it on my own. So I was like, okay, let me be an adult about this. I want to save money for something bigger. So let me put this money aside and understand how much money I have for what, and decide it on my own. Because, sometimes when people tell you that you have to do it or something like that and not give you the full steps of it, you're not going to do it and you're going to hate it. So I'm coming to, I'm doing it my own this time, and I'm like, okay, I want to do this myself, because I'm like, I don't want to have to pay people back all the time. I don't want to have to say, like, think about it and at the end of the month still be strapped and like wondering where money's coming from. I want to see more than $10 in my account the day before payday. So those type of things. So I'm just kind of like, I'm budgeting on my own now, and allocating money for savings, allocating money for spending and stuff like that. So, and not eating out as much either. That helps.
When you were using these online websites, what was your main source of income?
Planned Parenthood, my job. So
you had a full-time job.
Full-time job.
Did you have like a savings account or like retirement or anything like that while you were using it?
I do have a savings account at that time and did not have much in it. Retirement right now is not existent. I mean, I don't get paid that much
Right.
to really try to focus on that when I have other things due, student loans, bills, and But I did have a little bit of savings, but I was like, I can't hit that as hard, or I think at the time there might have not been that much in it, and then I was able to work some money into there, but it was like I didn't have that, so I had to do the best thing I could.
Would you say that everything that you used the loans for were like a necessity in your life, like a living necessity, or were there any luxury items that you?
Oh, there was probably some luxuries in there as well. I know myself. There was. Sometimes I spend without fully having conscious awareness of what I'm spending on. So you go to Walgreens or something, you spend $20, $30, and for socks or something crazy. So I know there was some unconscious spending, and it's not even bad. It's a luxury. It was just unconscious spending. Like, oh, I need that. Oh, that magazine looks really good. I need to know this recipe. I need to buy this magazine for this reason. Just simple things like that. So it might not have been a luxury per se, but it was just unconscious.
Can you think of like one example of like something that was a necessity that you had to, or
Gas.
or you couldn't get to your job type of thing?
Well, couldn't get to my job, and then I also, for some other activities that I do in my life, I have to travel every weekend to Louisville, Kentucky. So that's 100
Why do you
miles.
travel
My partner's a pastor, so we travel for church.
to support your partner then?
Well, not just to support, but sometimes he can't do the gas, so sometimes it's on me.
Right, yeah.
And then also, if we're taking my car, I have to have that usually using up a lot of gas, so I have to have gas for the rest of the week. So I have to take it out for that reason.
Okay. What about an example of like one unconscious luxury item that you bought just because you weren't thinking about it, or something that you didn't need but you just wanted?
Probably fast food. It wasn't like, it's not something that you tangibly have today or something like that. It was like fast food items or something like that. I know one I took out around Christmas time and was just buying stuff. And I think that time I was dealing with some emotional issues at the same time, so I was like, just kind of like nervous energy. And sometimes when I had that nervous energy, I would shop.
Yeah.
So, could not even tell you exactly what I bought.
I know that when I
was
get
just
like
nervous
stressed
energy.
out, I like to eat Wendy's. It's like my comfort food. Like some people do ice cream, like I go to Wendy's when I'm stressed.
I shop.
Is it something like it's a it calms you down? Like what about shopping? What about shopping is important to you?
Shopping to me, it's kind of like a drug. So it's kind of like it's a hunt. When you hunt for something and when you actually go through the action of purchasing it, you get a little high. It kind of makes you feel really, really good. Now, 5 minutes after that, you might have remorse. But then you want that next little, so I'm like, okay, I bought a pair of shoes or something. Okay, now I need to have something to go with the shoes. I need to make an outfit out of this, or I need to make sure I have enough accessories because these are blue shoes. I don't have a blue bag. I don't have a blue belt. You know, just I can rationalize things, just keep on going and going and going, and just just makes you feel good. Or if it's a nice day, it's like, oh, you know what? I really love to go to the mall on a nice day, or I love to go to an outdoor mall and just walk around and see the shops. But ooh, that shop has a sale. Then what is going to happen when I go to a sale? So basically, those type of things.
Do you feel like that urge to shop is something that you were like taught, that society taught you, or is it something that you were just kind of, you were born with this desire to love to shop?
No, it was, shopping has always been a major part of my life. When I was a kid, like, we would go to the stores 2 or 3 times a week, to the mall 2 or 3 times a week. So it was an after work activity. After my mom picked me up from school or from my grandmother's house where I was staying, we would go to like Elder Beerman's or something and just walk around, shop, and usually we would come out with purchases. And then on the weekends, you go to the mall. So it was either Kenwood, Tri-County, could be Northgate, could be at the time Forest Fair. So you will shop some more, and then it kind of stopped. It stopped without anybody giving me a reason as to why it was stopping. So it stopped cold turkey for her without fully telling me what's going on. So I got upset, and so then I just kind of included it as part of my life because I enjoy going down. I enjoy doing that. And then I just kept on the tradition. Now getting in trouble for keeping on the tradition, but not getting a full explanation as to why I shouldn't.
Is it still a group activity for you to shop, or do you go by yourself?
I go by myself. I go in a group. It doesn't matter. I'll do it. But now, consciously now, I know that I can't, or I find ways to cope. So I might go to a store, and I might try something on, and then I see myself in it. Like, okay, that's nice. Once you see yourself in it, the excitement's gone. So I was like, okay, I'm good. These pants are cute. Put them back, and then I'm okay. But a lot of times I try not to go into the store as much because I know myself. If I see something, I'll get it. Or if I go in with the intent to buy something, it's done. I will buy at least something.
Yes.
Just out of just buying something.
I had a shopping breakdown last weekend.
And especially with Easter coming around, I mean, it's been...
Tears came. Just tears in my eyes walking up the store. It was so sad. But I was proud because I didn't buy it, but I was sad walking up the store. I was just so sad. I cry now about it.
So the outfit isn't something you buy, though. It's about making yourself feel good as opposed to impressing someone else, like outside of you, like society.
Sometimes it could be to make myself feel good, but it's like almost that thing like if I have this, people see me as this.
So you'd gain respect? Or...
Yeah, in my head. That's not the case, but...
Right.
And I understand it's in my head.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like if I have this, I would feel this way, and people would think of me this way, and I would just be happy, and that was interesting. So, that type of thing. But it just kind of, it's for me, but it's kind of like I give myself an excuse to buy it. So if I'm thinking that, okay, it's not just for me, people will think this, or I need it for this reason, or I'm going to do this with it. I just need an excuse.
So would it be accurate to kind of make that connection that you wanted to use these websites to get money in order to feel respected or get something from that was in your head, but like that you were searching for more than clothes, you were searching for that respect or that feeling, that high?
At that time, no. Because I used my own money for that, per se. It was for the necessities that I used the websites for. So during that time, a lot of that other stuff wasn't happening. When I feel that, okay, I have money or something, more money I can spend, or it's like a payday or something, I might do the other activities. It's not like I do it every day now.
Right.
But when I was using that type of money, I felt ashamed for using it. So it was not used on a lot of too much until the last time where I was kind of like, it's Christmas time and I need to buy presents, and then I did it.
But that was even for other people.
Yeah, true. But
Because you said one of the necessities was that you would go with your partner to Louisville, and so it seemed like that was, and then for Christmas, like using the money to help someone in your life that you care about, as opposed to necessarily you. Would that be something that you would agree with, or?
I would not consciously do it for that reason. Sometimes it would just to say that I have it, just to make sure that I have enough. But if it was used for that, it was used for that. But it's not consciously used for that reason. You had a question?
Yeah, so I was wondering how exactly you came across your new budgeting and coping skills. Did you go to any classes or any formal kind of education?
No. My partner is helping me. We're budgeting together. He's good at it, so he's helping me, and we just kind of went to a website and got a budget sheet, and I took all my bills and took all of my accounts and like kind of like made a spreadsheet of everything I've spent money on since like December to March. So just kind of seeing where all my monies went to, and when you do that, you see like, oh wow, I spent how much here and how much has gone out of my account. And just seeing different transactions from like checking to savings and savings to checking and checking to reserve accounts and all the different things, and just seeing how much, if it was like actual money amounts attached to each one, like how much money had went through your account or how much money you had shifted around. It was just kind of like, this is unnecessary, and it makes you feel really, it just made you think. It made me wake up. So now I have a budget, and now I'm kind of using the envelope system. So like no debit cards, because debit cards kind of, they are my weakness. So kind of just taking the cash, keeping my separate envelopes, and doing it that way. Yes.
Can I ask if, since you paid everything and you're square on everything, why you feel shame about having used the fix your money?
It was because because I did pay everything and everything got paid off, but I had to use it to make sure that everything could clear and everything could get paid, and not my account go into like serious overdraft. It made me, that's why I felt shame for that reason, that I had to, that was like a bailout system for a fuck up kind of situation. So that's my reasoning for feeling that shame.
So after the initial anger or whatever it was that your partner felt that you didn't share with him initially, that you were struggling, how did he react? Is he supportive? He's supportive now.
As soon as I said it, it wasn't even like anger. It was just kind of like, why didn't you tell me?
Yeah.
It was just kind of like, I mean, it's not just you doing this. This is us. Like, we're together. So he was just kind of like, you could have told me and stuff like that, because there probably was a better way that we could have did it. And I told him, like, I told him my reasonings for the way I did it. But we are, we're definitely now with money and financials and stuff like that, we are being more transparent with each other. So he's seen my accounts, all of them. I've seen his. We know what monies are coming into the house. We know what monies are going out. We are making shopping lists together and stuff like that, so that we're kind of all on the same page. And if monies are needed, we kind of can know, like, okay, we have these accounts together, like savings accounts, that we can, if need be, take money from.
That's really good.
Any other questions?
Okay.